You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Monday Night Live. How's everybody doing? Sorry that we missed everyone last week. Hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. It was fun and without any fingers or digits blown off. We have a wonderful show today. I like to call the bass and beer radio guys like the Avengers. And if they were the Avengers, this guy here is probably Captain America, because he basically is the heart and soul of this whole organization. And he knows the Chesapeake Bay. We're going to be talking about what's going on in fishing, because Lord knows this is a hell of a week for us. We have ICAST coming up. We have a ton of people from Jake's Bait and Tackle flying down to ICAST, and they will be helping us do live stream of all the new releases. Spoiler, it sounds like the Harry Dice is the bait now, because, you know, American companies never innovate. They just copy whatever the hell Japan basically dumps on us. So, but we're going to be doing that as well. And also, I'm going to be doing a live stream fishing with Big D TV this week. It's either going to be Tuesday or Wednesday this week. We'll let you know about this. But the man, the myth, the legend, Paul of the Bass and Beer Radio Crew. Paul, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, no problem. Always love coming on.
What have you been up to?
Not a lot of fishing. The weather sucks.
Yeah, it's been sporty.
Trying to get out as much as I can. Took up running again, so been busy doing that. You know, trying to keep myself in shape and not get old and fat.
What was that Jesus moment? Because you're not just running; you're like doing like a marathon or 5Ks or something.
So I'm training for the Annapolis 10 miler. I am doing a marathon in probably April. I ran competitively in college, all through high school and college. So I've just always ran. So every 4 or 5 years I pick it back up.
Cross country, or
I ran cross country and track.
And track. Okay. Dude, I dated a girl in college that did cross country. To have to be alone with your thoughts that long without listening to anything is torture to me. I could not be alone with my thoughts that long while running.
Oh, that wasn't that bad. I mean, and figure we ran 8K in college, so that was only like 25 minutes or so.
Damn, you're fast. What's your mile?
My best mile ever was 4:19.
God damn. Wow.
Okay. I've ran sub 16-minute 5Ks.
Holy shit.
I mean, this was a long time ago. I'm not nearly that fast anymore, but we're talking what, 24 years ago, give or take.
But it's for health too, which is smart.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that we bring that up, because I've actually noticed a lot of things with fishing that I've gotten better as well. Like, I don't get sore as much while I'm fishing. I don't get that pain between my shoulder blades. So I've lost some weight, like 14 pounds or something somewhere around there. And I don't get as fatigued when I'm fishing. So it actually has had multiple benefits. And then, like you said, just health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, you know, I want to be healthy, I guess.
Obesity is the big killer. You know, you don't want to be one of these fishermen, they can't see his toes. And that when he stands in the front of his boat, his big engine's out of the water, because we all know who we're talking about. We've all seen them there at the boat ramp. And those people got a short shelf life, let's just say.
Interestingly enough, I feel like there's a direct correlation to obesity and fishing skill.
Do tell.
I mean, think about it. Like, go back. Think about like pros that were good. Jacob Porosnik, fantastic fisherman, very large man. Denny Brower, very large man. Greg Hackney used to be a pretty large man at one point in his life. He seems to have trimmed down a little recently, but like,
a fun counter argument would be like McKinney, Polinick, Cruz, Jacobson, Jordan Lee. Like, it is interesting. It's the old guard you're talking about that need a man brawl. Like, the younger generation is definitely like not getting pudgy, so to speak.
No, and I think that's a society thing, right? Like
Yeah.
health is, health is more on the forefront these days. So, that's just where I'm at.
And it keeps your career going. I mean, when you're dealing with like what we're going to be talking about today, start the show, the Upper Potomac or the Upper Bay, sorry. It gets sporty out there, and if you want to be able to fish to the Rick Clunn age, you don't do that by being diabetic and morbidly obese. Like it really does help to keep as much weight off as possible.
Helps with the heat too.
Oh God, dude, it's been
It
so
functions
hot
so much better in the heat. I mean, I fished on the Nanacoke on Saturday, and it was brutally hot, and probably the least the heat's bothered me in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And for people that don't know, you're also I guess the president of the Maryland what is your title right now?
I'm the tournament director of the Maryland Bass Federation.
Cool.
So the Maryland TBF, which is like your other grassroots organization. So you have like Maryland Bass Nation and you have Maryland TBF.
Gotcha. And you're TBF.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then you don't
also involved SQTs. With I'm also involved with Bass Nation. I have not fished the SQTs the last couple of years because the TBF stuff keeps me pretty busy. And I just haven't had time. Mostly. I really wanted to fish them this year because of the new format. With the team format. We've done that in TBF for a long time, and it's worked well for us. And I was really excited to do that, and the scheduling just didn't work out for me. Plus, going to Big Slack out in your neck of the woods, I've never fished there, so I was kind of curious to go test that out.
And Roger, if you're listening, because I know at our last Maryland Advisory Board meeting, the dock is back at Big Slack, so we're all good there, and the weights have been good. So I would love to give that place. I would love to give that place a vibe. Just like there's a couple of different sneaky places you could have an SQT there, or Conowingo is another place you could, in theory, have an SQT. It's big enough.
We've had SQTs on Conowingo before.
There you go. Versus just
usually at a bad time of the year, and it ends up being like 9 pounds to win, but.
What would be a good time of year for there?
Fall.
Yeah.
Late fall. Conowingo either right after the season opens, like the end of June, it can be good. Or late fall is the best. Late fall, you start seeing like 18 to 20 pound bags of smallmouth. That's like end of October into like mid to late November. Is when you start seeing like the really big bags of smallmouth up there.
Seems like Deep Creek Lake is the same thing. It's really good in the fall. I know people are going to comment, yes, the spring can be good too, but fall is like underappreciated there because it's so high.
Well, the problem with those places, we can't fish them in the spring as far as tournaments go.
Exactly.
So Conowingo's under the same rules. It's amazing in the spring. I've caught 3 20-pound bags up there. They've all been in May, and all largemouth. So. Like it's a great place. It's a great place to fish. I love fishing Conowingo. A lot of people don't like it because it can be a lot of people think that you have to fish the very upper end, which can be sketchy. There's it's a lot of rock, and if you don't know where you're going, you will rip your motor off. But there's great fishing on the bottom end of the lake too. I had a TBF tournament up there 2 weeks ago. And I fished within 2 miles of the Conowingo Dam the entire time, and ended up second. So the guys who won were also down there, right? So this time of year, south is usually best, and then in the fall, that's when the north end of the lake really picks up, and that's when like I said, the really big bags of smallmouth start showing up.
It's a place that I'm definitely going to get to eventually, guys. I want to do an episode there to show off Conowingo, and I like that you mentioned you can't have tournaments there in the spring because it's something that on the Black Bass Advisory Board, they get nervous about these summer tournaments and what they should do, and it's like, guys, listen, you already basically say from late February until June you can't fish tournaments, and now you guys are rumbling about we don't like warm water either. So it's like, do you just want to eliminate tournaments at this point? It's like either give us back the spring and take away the summer, or just pick one and deal with it. But you can't take away both. At that point, fishing doesn't exist.
I'm gonna say something controversial here.
Go for it.
I would not be horribly disappointed if they close tournaments, if they close tournament fishing in the spring on tidal water, because it would give the fish an opportunity to spawn, and then the summer tournaments and the mortality rate in the summer tournaments wouldn't make as much difference.
But you said tidal.
Well,
overall,
tidal,
should they like eliminate overall, like Deep Creek, Conowingo?
You already have it in the spring. Like it's already closed in the spring, right?
Agreed. I think they should pick. They either close spring or close summer.
Close tidal water in the spring. They'll be able to spawn in peace.
True.
And then the summertime mortality rate from tournaments doesn't make as much of a difference because those fish have already spawned.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't
just take some pressure off. I think it would be, we're talking about the Upper Bay. Imagine how good the Upper Bay would be if we didn't have 2 major tournaments a weekend every weekend during the spawn.
I don't disagree with that logic. I just think pick one. I get nervous with government.
I totally agree. Don't close it in the summer.
Yeah, the slippery slope of like, but fish are dying. It's like, but you're not going, and I've said this in the meetings, like you're not going to give it up in the spring. So you're following Pennsylvania of like, we're just going to shut fishing down from March to September. And it's like, well, at that point you just ruined everything. So it scares me.
Every study says that we have to have some sort of culling of the population. A certain percentage of the population needs to be culled every year anyway. People aren't keeping bass. The tournament mortality, as long it doesn't affect the fishery that much, as long as the tournament organizations are disposing of those properly, and it's not an eyesore, it's not piling up at the ramp, stuff like that. It's not that big of a deal that some fish die.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what everybody thinks, because it's been beaten into our head by BASS forever with catch and release and making sure that these fish are alive, that you don't realize that a certain number of fish need to die in an ecosystem every year.
And that goes in this comment here by Anacaustic Cloud 32. If we want to fish, we need to consider the fish. My problem is not the fish, it's the government oversight. Like I'm very much, again, you guys know, libertarian. I get nervous about laws that get put on the books. You can't get rid of them. And so if they basically outlaw, they already so we have this fundraise tournament every year to raise money for underprivileged kids in Hagerstown. It's called the Early Bird. It's the last weekend you legally can have a tournament on Big Slack, and it raises a bunch of money and all this other stuff. And we had a hard cold. Spoiler, it was cold this year. It was really cold. And we had to cancel the event because there was ice floating down the river, and we couldn't put it the next weekend because the next weekend tournaments weren't allowed anymore. And we just didn't have the fundraiser at all. And this is because of this rule where the first weekend in March until mid-June, you're not allowed to have tournaments. Cool. But then when you start rumbling about, well, what about the fish? What about July and August? Cool. Now what you're saying is you're taking away 6 months, no tournaments. Is that the best solution when you're basically becoming Pennsylvania and Jersey? The reason the Potomac gets all this pressure is because every state around Maryland outlaws tournaments until September. And so they all go south. And if you do that to Maryland, they're going to do it to Virginia. And then Virginia's going to do it. It's a domino effect. And that's just got to stop. I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Make tournament. Make penalties more. Mm-hmm. We've raised our dead fish penalties from the standard, which was a quarter pound forever, to a half a pound. I know one club, I fished one of their opens on Conowingo. It was a 1 pound penalty for a dead fish, which sucked because my live wells got jacked up and I lost 3 of my fish, but so we ended up losing instead of winning. but it is what it is. I'm fine with that because that's what it should be. Put the emphasis on the fish care. If you're going to lose a pound for a dead fish, guess what? You're going to take better care of your fish. You're not just going to throw them in the live well and not check your live well before make sure your live well's working before the tournament goes out. That's the thing that we need to do. And I take very good care of my live well. My live well pump got clogged. It was just one of those freak things that happened. I take very good care of my fish. I very rarely have had dead fish. We need to focus more on fish care versus banning, tournaments because bad things happen.
I agree with you. And I think also you also have to factor in catch weight release or the BFLs going to 3 fish. Like Kentucky Lake did 3 fish this past weekend, which was interesting to me.
Your audio just cut out.
That is awesome. Let's try. How about now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yep. God bless you, StreamYards, the Lord that we have to worship. No, but like Kentucky Lake this past weekend did a 3 fish limit, which was interesting. And it would be, why couldn't you do that on the James? Like there's little things you can do.
I'm iffy on the 3 fish limit.
Ooh.
From a participant standpoint, not from a conservation standpoint. I think from a conservation standpoint, does it make a big difference? Maybe
2 fish. Yeah.
From a participant standpoint, it makes that big bite make a much bigger difference.
Agreed.
Where somebody could have I have, I'm on the gunpowder and I have 5 3-pounders and somebody catches a 5, a 5 and 2 2s is the same as catching 3 3-pounders.
That's true.
But
that's true.
It's a lot harder to catch 3 3-pounders on the gunpowder right now than it is to catch 2-pounders. Right. So I feel like from a participant standpoint, it makes luck more of a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I'm not necessarily against it either.
No,
I'm not against it. I'm not against anything as long as it's done. It's researched. We look at facts. We look at what the impact can do, what it should do, and then we implement something. Not just reactionary. Well, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. I do not. I'm like you. I'm very libertarian, so I hate government oversight.
Yeah, and I guess that's the only thing I'm against is closing down fishing from March until September. And
it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I can tell you the number of dead fish my club has tournaments all through the summer. I can count the number of dead fish that we've had in the last 5 years. It's less than 10.
Mm-hmm.
Because we focus on taking care of our fish. That's important to us.
Ricky Folk says high school nationals in 2 weeks and Georgia is going to 3 fish. Dude, listen, there's going to be changes. I think especially with the what is that? Bubble scale, Bubba scale. Like they're doing a huge push because I think they have something that's going to be a big announcement here.
Well, MLF posted on their Facebook the other day that they have a huge announcement with Bubba scale. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder what
Adesi said catch photo release with a ref on the boat to verify. Unfortunately, from a grassroots effort, that's not.
Do you have this?
It's not feasible. The logistics of that is just not feasible. You can't have a local tournament like that. I wish it was.
If you had $1 billion and you'd like to send it to us, please, because that's the thing is they can do it because they have the money. Like it in a vacuum, it makes sense, but then it's legit. This is what's interesting is on Basscast Radio. I'm a co-host. We had the guy that runs the BFLs, and he talks about there's 6 trailers in the United States that runs every single BFL.
Right.
And so they spend the whole year figuring out the logistics to move the trailers around. Now figure out the logistics of if every local event had to have a ref. How do you get them there? How do you pay them?
150 ref per tournament.
Oh, dude, it'd be insane. Let's see what with your wife.
With your wife to verify.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
Depending on what mood you're in, you could do really good that tournament or horrifically bad. You never know. So
it depends on if I yelled at her for not getting the net that night.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
I may have done that last Thursday.
Your overall weights will be on a rotation depending on the month. So, with that said, guys, as always, we have the Bass Open coming up, and I was talking to Paul before this thing, and I have a screen share that we're going to go through this. We'll go super simple, basic breakdown of this. But first, is this the best year for the Upper Bay? Because we've talked about the James, the Potomac. The Bay's on fire right now, man.
Pretty close.
I mean, god damn.
It's it's definitely kicking out big bags consistently. I don't. Is it the best it's ever been? I mean, it's been really good for the last 4 or 5 years.
You think it's top 5 years?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we were talking about before the show, there was a tournament yesterday it was a fundraising tournament for Junior Bass Club, and there were 14 boats, and 4 of them had over 23 pounds. It took 25 to win in July. 24 for second, 24 for third, and 23 for fourth.
That's wild, man. Yeah, God.
I mean, and that's in July. And a friend of mine had almost 28 pounds in August a couple years ago. So it's not like it's never happened before, but to have that many boats do it is pretty ridiculous.
And of course, when we talk about the Upper Bay, the Potomac, or the James, we have to talk about this, which is the SAV, the grass. And is there a coincidence here? How has the grass been this year and the last couple of years?
It's been really good the last couple of years. This year is kind of weird because of all the rain, especially the rain up north. The grass has been a little. I won't say that it's been behind because there's a ton of grass. I mean, the flats are covered in grass from one side to the other. But I've noticed that like some areas that normally have that are normally like walled off right now, like on the channel edges, it's not that like hard grass edge. So it's kind of like where the where some of the like main channels and stuff run through, where they've been dumping that mud, that's been kind of lacking. But overall, I mean, there's a ton of grass out there this year, and it's been out there since. I mean, the first time I went out on the Upper Bay was end of March. I mean, there was already 1.5 foot tall milfoil, which is incredibly surprising considering how cold the winter was.
And I'm really glad about that, because there was a while like where the Susquehanna Flats, and guys, we're gonna get into this in a minute. Like, you know, it got blown out, the sediment and stuff. Because I remember when Greg Hackney didn't win. He did well. He finished well in that event. Aaron won. Up in the Susquehanna, tons of lush grass. I fished there in college, and then there was a couple of years where it fucking died. Like, it was gone. So it's nice to see that like everything, again, everyone gets worried, but everything has cycles. Everything bounces back. Yeah,
it hasn't been really on the flats. I mean, the grass hasn't been bad in a while. I mean, it's been a long time since the grass has been bad, but other places on the bay, the grass still sucks.
Well, let's get into it, because this is I get this question the whole time, and I really want to kind of like figure this out right now. Is what is technically, when we talk about the Upper Bay? Because if you read the Bassmaster articles, they will say that the Upper Bay is 600,000 acres, and it starts at the Susquehanna and it ends at the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And it's like, that is not technically the Upper Bay people are fishing. They're not driving to the James River.
Well, I would say the first Bay Bridge, not the Bay Bridge tunnel, but the one, you know, like down Annapolis area, right about there.
So this will be your cutoff. Okay.
So yeah, I will say, like, I know back in the day, people that would run the Chester River, which is that big river right there on the right. So all the way down to there, which is crazy because you have to go about as far as your cursor, just about as far as your cursor is up to get
Past
to
Kingstown.
Yeah, Chestertown, like from Chestertown north is like where the good bass fishing is. So, and that's a long ways up that river. It's also really sketchy to run. There are a lot of big, shallow mud flats. It's kind of like the James, where you can get stranded very easily and be high and dry when the tide goes out.
How crazy the tide swing on the Chester?
I mean, it's pretty typical. It's kind of similar to the shore, all the shore rivers. So similar to like the Nanticoke Chop Tank, about 2.5, 3 feet.
2.5, 3 feet. Okay, so pretty crazy compared to people that probably fish the Potomac or the James. Honestly,
that's or even like the upper part of the Upper Bay, in the Haverty Grace area, or the Gunpowder and the Western Shore rivers. They don't come down. Like we have like a 1.5 foot tide on the Gunpowder.
Why would you travel to the Chester? So, if you launch out of the Northeast and you have a gasoline sponsor, so you can just burn and haul ass, like, is the fishing that good? Or is it more of like a multi-day finding a sneaky place to just be able to salvage a limit each day?
I think it was more of just finding a sneaky place that wasn't pressured. I haven't heard of anybody going to the Chester recently. The last person I know of that ran to the Chester was Ish in the Elite Series that Aaron won. And he ran to the Chester the first day.
So if we,
but those guys are not afraid to make long runs. I know that was 2015?
2015, yep.
Because so in 2017, when they were supposed to come back, Ott Defoe and Jacob Wheeler were seen practicing in the Chop Tank.
Really?
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't know, and I'll get to some of your questions, the Chop Tank is way the frick down here. This is the Chop Tank. So, yeah, just to give you an idea, this is the Northeast River where all of the tournaments basically launch. This is the Chop Tank way the hell down here. That's wild. And we actually have a question here.
Again, you have to go way up the Chop Tank too. Like, I mean, you're going pretty much almost up to Denton. God. Tuckahoe, which is that big creek that's on the north side of it, and a little below there. I mean, you're going up that far.
Good God. And we have a question here. Edsy's workshop. How long of a run is that in a boat?
To the Chester, it's probably it's like
2 hours? An hour?
7, another probably about 65 miles.
God damn.
Give or take. Something like that. So it's not like unheard of.
I mean, the Chop Tank is 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a long ways to the Chop Tank. It's probably 65 miles to the mouth of the Chop Tank. I mean, but look at the guy. I mean, look at those guys. In the NPFL, they were running from Messina to the Ducks. Yeah, that's insane. I mean, that's such a long ride. Jason Christie said in 3 days he drove his boat 720 miles.
So when you want to buy a used professional's boat, always do your due diligence. So in my bass tracker, about 6 hours round trip. Yeah, probably if you make it. I mean, so that's the Chop Tank, which they hold tournaments just in the Chop Tank, by the way, guys. So, and then you have the Chester, and then we'll kind of go up here. Has anyone actually caught a bass out of Baltimore in the Indian
Patapsco? Yeah. So the Patapsco has bass. If you go down to like that Curtis Bay area, see where the Curtis Bay industrial area, Brooklyn Park, actually. See Brooklyn Park's on the left of the screen. Those ponds that are right there, there's bass in there. There's actually a boat launch right near there, and I think it's in Southwest Area Park. There's a boat launch there, and yeah, you can catch bass in there.
That's wild, dude. Like in the middle of Baltimore, you can actually catch bass, not just striper.
Now, like the Inner Harbor type area, there's too much salt in there.
Okay.
So you don't get too much in there. I've heard Bear Creek, which is that big creek at the 695 sign, just below Dundalk, right there. I've heard of people catching bass in there, but I also, one of the guys in my club grew up there, and he said like he grew up there. He fished it all the time, and they never caught bass there.
Never.
So
what changed?
Well, again, I just heard rumors that people have caught some bass in there. So whether or not those rumors are true, who knows? Back River, one of the guys that I fished the CBF with has fished the Upper Bay for since probably 40 years, if not more. He said they used to be able to catch bass out of Back River. Back River is super polluted now. So that doesn't surprise me that that's not really a prime spot. Middle River, you have bass in Middle River. Obviously, Aaron Martin's one from there. It's been fishing. Middle River's been fishing decently. I hate Middle River with a passion. I can count the number of bass I've caught on Middle River on one hand. I do not like it. I do not go there. It's got stupid weekend speed limit rules, and it takes forever to get back to where I know I can catch fish, so I don't ever go there.
Was it Gallows Creek, or is it this? Is this the marina that he caught?
That's the marina.
That's the marina?
Yeah, Foley's Marina. And those docks just behind that is where Carl Jakobsen was fishing in that tournament.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Carl also top 10 that tournament.
Yeah, so if you guys don't think you can win off of just a set of marina docks, understand that for 4 days he basically lived in this area and made it happen. And he caught some big ones.
Right there, like that horseshoe shaped dock right there. I mean, that's what he was fishing for 4 days.
That's insane, man. Why?
I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody catch fish there since.
Do you think it's because of just the salinity levels, fish kill? Why?
Timing. It was a timing thing. That time of year that they were here in July, there's always a big bluegill spawn.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and those bluegills spawn in those marinas, so they just sucked into there. They sucked into that marina, because of the bluegill spawn. But then as you work your way up the bay, you have the Gunpowder. Yep. Which is right there. That's my home water. I fish that three times a week, give or take. I was actually before we jumped on the show. SAV is really down in the Gunpowder. We think it's a combination of things. They built a housing development off one of the creeks, which dumped a lot of sediment into the water. And it used to be so that the whole side. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see it. So where Free State Challenge Academy is,
right here.
Yeah. So that whole bank right there used to be grass.
Wow.
I mean, from one side, from there down to Maxwell Point. I'm looking at, from there all the way down to Maxwell Point. You'll see, if you go down a little farther, you'll see Maxwell Point sticking out.
Oh, this right here. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Wow,
so that whole side all the way to the train bridge, which is kind of the top left of your screen right now. That whole bank was grass.
What do you think happened? What happened?
So I think it was a combination of salinity and sediment from the housing development that they built that was flushing down the creek.
Yep.
That's just inside the train bridge.
Guys,
because it would roll like orange. I mean, it wasn't like muddy, it was orange. And it was rolling that out. And we don't have any grass really inside the train bridge anymore. There's very, very little grass outside of the train bridge. It's bad. the gunpowder is definitely on a downswing. I still love it. I mean, I still do well there. I mean, I can still catch fish there, but it's definitely not what it was 4 or 5 years ago. And that's 4 or 5 years ago was post fish kill. We had a huge fish kill.
Middle River gunpowder 2 years after Aaron Martin was on, right?
How long have I owned my house? Trying to remember when I bought my house.
2017.
That was the year. Seems about right. Yeah.
I thought it was a year or two after Aaron won. I thought was when the big fish kills started to happen.
Yeah. I think it was eight years ago. There was a huge fish kill in the gunpowder. I mean, it wiped out the gunpowder. And a couple of years ago, it was really starting to come back. Our summer Thursday nighters was, I mean, on average 10 to 12 pounds to win for 3 fish.
Wow. 3 fish. Damn.
Now it's 10-ish. Well, I won the first 2 this year with, I had 9 point, what did I have in the first one? 9.8, I think. And me and Candace had 10.5 last week, or not last week, the week before. So, it's been really hard to come by like 4+ pound fish. You can catch some 3-pounders in there, but those big ones, there was a 5.5 weighed in this week, but I haven't caught a 5-pounder out of the gunpowder in like 2 years.
Damn. What about Dundee Creek Marina and just in this area right here?
So Dundee even has lost some grass. It had really good grass last year. This year has not been as good. There's still some fish. There's still some fish there, but I think the lack of grass has kind of they've moved out of there. It's very little grass compared to last year. There's a little bit of grass around, but it's nothing like it was the last year and the few years prior to that.
So that's gunpowder. It's crazy because I remember all this stuff because again, guys, last time I fished college was 2014 through 16, and we were in the Upper Bay so much back then, and it's interesting to see how these things have changed over time. And then you have the
Bush River,
which is right above it.
Another one of my favorite rivers. It's 10 minutes away. I don't know. It gets a lot of pressure now, which I think hurts it, but
why?
You can still catch fish there. It gets a lot of kayak pressure.
Oh, okay.
Easy access. It's one of the easiest places to access around here. It fish is very small. It doesn't have a lot of bassy habitat. So it fishes very small. So the pressure really impacts it. Still a good river. You can still catch some fish in there. But it's not what it was 5 or 6 years ago.
We got a question here on Instagram. Again, guys, share your questions on YouTube or Facebook because I can actually I can share those on screen. I can't on Instagram. But Kemp Grant asks on Instagram, what is the salinity level like around the mouth of Gunpowder and the Bush River?
It's a little salty out by the mouth, but it's not super salty. I've caught bass as far out as I've caught them at the mouth of Abbey Creek, which is that little itty bitty tiny creek on the north shore at the mouth of the Bush. That little creek right there. No, the next one out.
Oh, this one. Oh wow! Holy shit!
I've caught bass at the mouth of that creek.
Yeah, so that's a good question you brought up because the
you can't fish
on
the
Upper
creeks.
Bay.
You can't fish the creeks there because they're all military. But
you get shot.
You can. So, I've caught it. There were a few years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago now. There was a nice eelgrass bed at the mouth of that creek, and I caught quite a few bass out of it. See, Nick Sapio said there's more bass at Greenway Flats than all of the Upper Bay, and I will beg to differ because there is a crap ton when we get farther north.
Yeah, we're starting from I guess the worst to the best was kind of how we're going in this scaling. But again, what we've talked about in so many episodes is about SAV, how important it is for tidal bodies of water.
Yes.
It's so freaking important. And again, the thing that's the worst thing for anglers is HOAs, homeowner associations, and stay-at-home moms that basically do all the construction, spray their yards, and all that shit runs off into our rivers or lakes, and that creates these issues to why probably the gunpowder is down right now. And you've seen this on Smith. I've seen this on Smith, Sleeters.
Well, that was
so many places. It hurts it.
The gunpowder was more improper maintaining of silt runoff from housing developments.
From housing, exactly. Yeah. But every time, like the Woodrow Wilson Bridge when it was under construction, isn't it weird that when the Woodrow Wilson Bridge was having its construction, Greenway
all the
in
grass
DC
in the northern end of the
dead,
Potomac died,
gone. It just, and then you had this issue and
something else went on there too, because there used to be, you remember the massive amounts of grass that used to be Blue Plains?
Mm-hmm.
That's not there anymore. So I don't think it was just that.
There's our waterways are poisoning right now. There was some scientific journal that I'm trying to get the author on that talked about it, like the ospreys are dying now because their eggs are having issues. And it's like, oh, didn't we have this issue with bald eagles like 30 years ago?
Yeah.
And that was an herbicide or a pesticide. What the fuck is going on, guys? Like, we're doing this again. It's like history's repeating right now with all the crap. I know I had a guy, I just pre-recorded an episode where Connecticut is spraying so much in their lakes and rivers. You can't have your dog swim in the lakes because 3 dogs have died because they went swimming. They sprayed it so heavily with Chinese chemicals that 3 dogs have died in the past 4 weeks. And it's because hydrilla is bad. So we're going to kill your kids and the dogs to get rid of hydrilla. I don't want to get off my soapbox, but like we're making mistakes again. So
back to the bay. You have across from the bush, you have a couple of creeks over there that have been good in the past. I haven't fished them too much in the last few years, so I can't really speak on what their levels are now. But Still Pond, Fairleigh, and Warden Creeks are those 3 creeks that are right there. And then right above that, now we'll start getting into the good parts.
The old sassafras.
So that's the sassafras. Sassafras kicks out some giant bags in the spring and fall. There are some, that's one of the better areas in the Upper Bay as far as like the rivers go. I don't know why. I can't give you a good reason. It's not anything special. It's not like there's a huge amount of grass in there or anything like that. It just has big fish in it.
That's so crazy. Is and like you said, there's that not an SAV thing, and it's spring and fall.
It's mostly. I mean, you're fishing mostly hardcover. There's big fish in there.
That is,
and you can go way up. I mean, I've been up to I've never been up there in that side.
I've actually gone out there and practiced 1 year.
I fished Hall Creek, but I've never been that far up. I usually fish the mouth of Hall Creek.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I've been all the way to the 301 that's up there.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I've been all the way up there.
I've
been within sight of the I've never been to the 301 bridge, but I've been within sight of it. I was actually fishing as a co-angler that day, and one of the guys from Delaware took us all the way up there.
I was gonna say, if I remember right, and in workshop I said, sorry, I walked away from my microphone. When this re-uploads, the audio will be balanced. That's what I can do with that post production. But I believe this is a no wake zone, right, or an idle? I think.
So from like Halls Creek, all the way to the bridge there in Georgetown.
Holy crap, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a pretty big no wake. It takes. I mean, it looks bigger on the map than what it is. It's like 6 or 7 minutes. It's not like terrible. I think 6 or 7 minutes. I can't remember honestly.
It's
been a while since I fished down there.
Keep that in mind if you go to the Sassafras, because then, and I think this is important to know.
It's very well marked. You can't miss it.
99.9% of the tournaments that you're going to probably be in and what the professionals are going to do is probably going to be out of the Northeast. So when we're talking about all this stuff, it's not like the Potomac River, where it's Aquia or Leesylvania, like there's 1,000 places people launch tournaments. It's all in one area. So when you're talking about going all the way down, that's a hell of a run. And this water can get dangerous.
There's really only 3 places that launch tournaments on the Upper Bay, major or larger tournaments. I'll say, 30 boats or more. Haverty Grace, Haverty Grace Northeast, and Dundee. Yeah, and Dundee really doesn't get utilized that much,
which is a shame. It's a nice
funny
little
story.
facility.
The convenience, they had like that convenience store and bathroom building at Dundee. Yeah, that burned down a couple weeks ago.
What the hell? Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's
randomly
nice
at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, randomly. That's a shame.
So if we're working our way north, you have the Elk and Bohemia that come up next. That is a place that I've never figured out. I've caught fish. I've caught fish there before. I've caught some good fish in there before. But I've never. It's one of those places that just I can't crack it. I don't fish it enough to actually do it, because there's better fishing farther up. But I know generally the Bohemia is better than the Elk. There's a ton of grass in there.
In the Elk or the Bohemia?
In the Elk.
In the Elk.
There's a fair amount in the Bohemia too, but most of the stuff that I fish in the Bohemia is hardcover. That seems to be better. Have seen some of the most beautiful eelgrass beds in the Elk River, and I cannot catch fish out of them.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I cannot figure that out.
Is it there's no fish or just too much cover?
I think when I say that, they're massive eelgrass beds.
Oh wow,
absolutely massive. So if you go down a little bit, go down to find the state park. So there's the state park right there. So just go up a little bit. So you see Elk Neck State Park. So that cove right there, that's kind of where the boat. I think that's kind of where the boat, but that middle cove of the 3. I think that's where the boat ramp is. That next cove up. Yeah, where's the boat ramp?
Looks like it's right here.
No, that's not it. It's down farther.
Oh.
Other way. Yeah. There, it's there, right there. Okay. So the next cove up before Thackeray Point, that entire cove is nothing but grass.
Wow.
And it's been that way every year. And I can't catch fish out of it.
That's wild, man. And what's interesting is
I'm not saying there's not fish in there. I just haven't been able to catch them. And again, I don't fish it a ton. So because we get to the next place, which is the Susquehanna Flats and Northeast River.
Which
which is where
the damage is done.
90% of the people in any tournament are fishing. So we generally launch out of Northeast. It's where most of our tournaments. The Northeast is an amazing river. It's got a lot of fish in it because all the tournaments go out of there. So it gets restocked constantly. That whole big blue section in the middle, pretty much that entire thing is grass. Not in the Northeast, in the flat, on the Susquehanna Flats.
Let me pull this up here. Let's see if we get a good Google image of it. There we go.
So you can see the grass on the map there. Wow. So you see the main channel running down the left. You can kind of see the channel running along the bank over by Carpenter Point. Everything between that is grass.
That's insane.
From one side to the other. I think it's some. I looked it up one time. I think it's 8,000 acres of grass. It's wild. There's so much grass out there. This year there's the hydrilla was kind of stunted by the winter. And it has been, for most of the year, has been mostly milfoil. The hydrilla and eelgrass has started coming up in the last month. and it's so you have three kinds. Plus, there's stargrass out there too. So it's figuring out one, where they are in 8,000 acres of grass, because they're not going to be in every part of it, and two, what kind of grass they decide they like that day. Sometimes it's milfoil, sometimes it's stargrass, sometimes they're on the hydrilla edges. You just have to figure out where the bait is, where the fish are. But that right now is the best part of the Upper Bay, and that's what's kicking out the big bags. We've had, last year we had there were two 26-pound bags. I think we had a 26-pound bag this year. We've had multiple 25-pound bags this year. There was a tournament earlier this year at Chester County that 21 pounds didn't get a check.
That's wild, man. So
and they pay the top 10. So 21 pounds didn't make the top 10.
So what makes up the big Okeechobee Bowl here is the Northeast, the Susquehanna proper, Swan Creek, and then what is this called? Pinocchio Creek?
That's Furnace Bay. Principio Creek.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a very minor. The Swan Creek and Furnace Bay are very minor parts of it. They're very, very, very small creeks that come into it.
Brian D8 on Instagram asks, again, guys, please ask this on YouTube or Facebook so I can share it. How dangerous is it to navigate this area? Is it well marked?
No. The main channels are well marked because they are shipping channels. So not a big deal if you're just going out. When you get out onto the flats themselves, there is no markings out there, and you will beat your boat on low tide in certain areas. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I was stuck out there for 6.5 hours one time. So.
An old friend of mine, when we started fishing college, and I told him we're going to fish new tidal bodies of water, I asked him for advice, and he said, any new water you go to, always go there on absolute low tide, because you'll know where you can run and where you can't run. Don't go there on absolute high tide and just run a brand new place and think, oh, this is easy going. So I think that advice
is great. I've got 2 feet of water here, and then 3 hours later, there's no water there.
It's you are effed. And Google Earth is like not too bad. Like you could tell the main channel. There's also, guys, there's like Javi de Grace. There's a, think of this like Okeechobee. There's a channel that's on the outside of this fishbowl. Mm-hmm. There's one that cuts right through here next to this island here on the fishbowl. And then there are some other channels, but they just aren't marked. You just got to know where they are. But those are the main official ones, I think, that you can
those are really the only channels. So anything else is there are some ditches, but those ditches tend to end abruptly. So if the tide gets real low, you can be running up that ditch, and then all of a sudden you're in 6 inches of water, because they don't run the full length. But it's relatively easy to navigate. Navionics has, and Lake Master, the VX Lake Master, are all pretty good on it. As far as the main channels go, they're well marked. That middle channel up from the island, that's a shipping channel, so that's well marked.
Yeah, you can see people going up and down that.
You have the you have channel markers out there. The one going over to the northeast, not marked, but is pretty clear on if you look on any of your mapping cards. The back channel is the same way. It's on, it's marked. It's pretty well marked on your mapping cards. And then once you get down to, if you scroll down a bit, that little corner right there, there's a marina over to the left. The other left.
Oh wait, there, that's why.
So if you go over a little farther, like right where that purple icon was, there's a little marina there, and the channel is marked from there over to Father Martin Ashley, to going toward Havre de Grace, and then toward the shipping channel. So you'll have a marked channel. You'll have a marked channel there.
You're pretty safe from Turkey Point across once you get past that, like depth wise, I believe. If I remember correctly, correct?
Yeah, as long as you don't, yeah, just stay in the middle.
There you go.
I actually right off of I can't ever pronounce a Spisuti Point, whatever that point is there. I smoked a log at almost 70 miles an hour last year. Luckily, like I hit it like I must have hit it like lengthwise, and I split it in two. You could see the marks on my lower unit go back my lower unit. So you just saw it looked like somebody painted lines on my lower unit. And when I looked back, it was just like there were pieces of wood like 30 feet in the air.
Oh my god,
it was pretty wild. And I had my wife with me, so that was pretty crazy. But we won. Yeah. we made like $20 after I bought boat parts to fix my boat.
And she's like, "Yep, this was all worth it." And that's why.
Like, what was that? I was like, "Oh, it was nothing. We can't do anything about it now. We're just going to keep on getting it."
So someone asked earlier about having your wife as your referee in the boat. That is why you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a really cool place. It is the Okeechobee of the North. Honestly, it's really wild how it sets up a fish bowl, all grass, shallow. Do you just fun fish, break down new water? Is that how you kind of explore the place? Or do you do I wait until it's December and I graph it when there's no grass type of deal?
So whenever I'm out, I always try to fish one place that I've never fished before. And I've been fishing the flats for 15 years, and there's still plenty of places that I haven't touched. So I always try to fish like one place that I've never really fished before, just to check it out. So I'll check out, I'll find something on Google Earth. You can get a lot of information off Google Earth as far as like where the ditches and stuff are. I'll be like, oh, well, I've never fished that area of the flats, so let me see if I can get over there. And sometimes I have to trolling motor for 3 miles because I got a little shallow. But it's mostly just a lot of trial and error and just a lot of time on the water.
Do you think the Northeast would be as good as it is if there wasn't so many tournaments going out of there?
I know a lot of people who fished Upper Bay for a long time. The Northeast was never a good place to fish until they started having all the tournaments out of it.
Interesting.
Conversely, before they started having all the tournaments out of there, they used to have most of the tournaments out of Dundee, and Dundee was a great place. Was the go-to place to fish. Interesting. So just kind of goes to show you what having a bunch of tournaments out of one body of water does.
Like, I love seeing the weigh-ins, and I get people hate catch, weigh, release, but then you wonder if catch, weigh, release was the norm, is Mattawoman is good? Is the Northeast is good? Like, how does it change in 5, 6, 7 years of introducing that? How it changes how the fishing is, and honestly, just be like wherever the best habitat is probably where the best fishing will be. It's not going to be forced retransplanting like it is.
Well, I mean, if they don't have a reason, if they don't have a reason to leave, why would they leave? If there's bait, if there's structure, if there's cover, why are they leaving? Right? And the Northeast is loaded with all of that. I mean, it's full of docks, rocks. It's got good water.
What about the canal? This is something I wanted to bring up to you as a native. Back Creek.
I just accidentally asked Siri some things, and I can't hear anything right now.
You're fine. Siri,
we should be good now.
Once Siri is done with that, you can actually fish a Chesapeake Bay tournament and, in theory, drive to Delaware River. You have this thing called the Back Creek. So what is that like?
So I've only known one person, or I've only ever heard of one person doing this, or like personally. But we were fishing. I can't remember if we were fishing a club tournament or if one of the guys in my club was out. But he ran into somebody on the water who was fishing a tournament out of the Delaware, and they ran from the Delaware River down. That back creek is not a creek.
Really?
That's the C&D Canal.
Oh, it's a canal.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's like the freighter canal between the Chesapeake and the Delaware Bay.
That's so cool.
But yeah, I have heard of one person doing that. But it's a long run, and the current rolls through there.
I bet it does, man.
I mean, it rolls like 4 to 5 mile an hour.
Mm.
When the tide really starts ripping out, it's 4 to 5 mile an hour through there.
And to be fair, I don't know who would want to leave the Upper Bay to go fish the Delaware River, honestly, because like it just doesn't seem like it'd be a great. Anyway, yeah, I guess you could, but
I've heard of one 20-pound bag coming out of the Delaware River, ever. It
just seems so stressful. I've talked to some locals that have fished it before, but it just seems so miserable to have to deal with that tide swing. Power to you.
A friend of mine, they had when they had the Bass Nation regionals before they went to the new format. They had a Bass Nation regional on the Delaware, and a friend of mine, made a team from Maryland, went up there, and it was chocolate milk, and it was terrible. And he finds this rock point, and it's loaded with fish, and he's like, "Cool, like chocolate milk, found fish, like I'm good. This is where I'm going." He runs there in a tournament, and it's 4 feet out of water.
Delaware fishing, tide swing, baby. Here we go. We got big red fishing. I live 5 minutes from the C&D Canal and cross the bridge every day. Haven't seen a bass boat in the canal in 15 years. I mean, semantics.
I know I have a friend of mine who he used to have a house in Elkton. And I mean, he would mess around in there sometimes, but nobody fishes it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like why would you want to do that? But so with all that said, I mean we've now basically covered all of this mythical area called the Upper Bay, and so I guess the final wording on this before we pivot is it going to be one the open? Will it be one in the fishbowl, or do you think it's going to be one in a sneaky place, people making long runs?
I think it'll either be one in the fishbowl or in the Northeast.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
I don't think it's going to be won by anyone making long runs because the size of the fish doesn't. The size of the fish don't exist in other places like they do on the flats.
I wonder if that Bassmaster event just gave people a misconception that you can run a long ways and win.
It wouldn't be, I would say, the way that it's fishing now, next week, I mean, 20 pounds a day is not unheard of. I would, I mean, unless something drastically changes in the next couple of weeks, I mean, it's fishing really well. And somebody's going to catch them. And there are a few local hammers that are going to be in that too. I know Pete Glushek's fishing it, Gray Buck's fishing it, Duke Nave's fishing it. So like there's some local hammers that are in that tournament, and they're going to catch them. And if nothing major really changes over the next 2 weeks, it should be one out of the grass.
All right. What is your guess on the winning weights?
I'm going to say just under 20 pounds a day.
Okay. 19-ish, 18-ish.
So what's it, a 3-day tournament? I'm going to say probably in the high 50s. Right.
What is what is the biggest single day bag you think happens? 20,
it'll
21?
It'll be over 20 for sure. Somebody will catch over 20.
I'm hoping there's one 23-pound bag caught. I think the biggest on the James River event was like 21, 22 from Chad, I think, in the Chick. So, yeah, I think something like that. Here we go.
Somebody's going to catch a big bag. There's too many fish, especially on the first day. There's too many big fish out there. somebody's going to catch a big bag. It's not like they're coming here in September like they did before. The flats, just like everywhere else in the country, notoriously suck in September.
Mm-hmm.
Where 15 pounds a day was fantastic in that tournament. That's top 10, right? I don't think that's going to happen this time.
No, I think it's
there's too many fish out there. There's too many big fish out there. The grass is too good. The fish are obviously eating. Look at the results from yesterday. 4 bags. I mean, I said 23 for fourth place. It was like 23.95. You might as well call it 24, right? Absolutely. So somebody's going to find them. Somebody will catch them. If they go. I think they do, to answer somebody's question. I think they stream the top 10 on the last day.
Yeah. Is the Open going to be televised or live streamed? If I believe you're correct. I think it's the last day will be televised. There's going to be some kind of live coverage from Bass. I just do not know specifically what it is.
It should be. It should be fun to watch.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of frogging.
Yeah, a lot of frogging, a lot of punching.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of frogging. Probably not as much punching.
You don't think
because
so?
we don't have the mats right now.
Oh, okay.
The mats aren't great because the hydrilla hasn't really taken off.
Will it be tide dependent at all? If they get a low tide that they fish through, do you think that'll change it?
Maybe. Wonder hold on. Let's find out.
Yeah, I'm curious. Okay, and then guys, if you guys don't know, that's a big thing with tidal fisheries is a high tide versus a low tide will dictate that.
I am looking at it right now. Haverty Grace. Why can't I go? Next 14 days. All right, so it's the 23rd through 25th. And not a great tide.
Ooh, what are we doing?
So the first day is pretty decent. High tides at 8:52, low tides at 4:36, and then it just keeps getting worse from there, right?
Okay.
So
never mind.
Like when you get to Friday, so for the top 10, low tides at 6:05 p.m.
Okay, never mind. Yeah.
So they're gonna have not so great tide.
Interesting.
But I don't think it's going to affect. It hasn't affected anything that I've been doing out there. High tide, low tide, we've still been able to catch big fish.
Interesting. Just will affect how they catch them, but I see your point there with that.
The high tide, I mean, it's just it's typical chatterbaits and moving baits and stuff like that. And then when the water sucks down, you just go to frogging.
Meat and potato style fishing, which has been the MO with everywhere this year. Because you look at the guys we covered live stream the James River event, the Potomac River event. It's just been that way with everything because there's been so much rain. I think workshop you even said it's been raining. I'll try to get that comment, but it's been raining basically every day in Virginia for the past couple of weeks.
Same here.
It's just insane.
Got rained all the night while we were out fishing.
Hasn't stopped raining in Virginia the last 2 weeks every day, 5 to 8 p.m. Yep, it's blown out the rivers and everything. It's lake fishing's great. Tidal is kind of sketchy depending on where you're at. The Rappahannock River is just chocolate milk right now. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Did you see that stuff that happened in the Patuxent?
What happened?
There was a sewage spill in the Patuxent.
Oh, yeah. There was a sewage spill on the Rap. The Susquehanna apparently has a sewage spill. It seems like everywhere has. Again, where's our tax dollars going, man? Like,
yeah, see, it's wild. I mean, there's so many sewage spills over the last couple of weeks. Like you said, like there was a big one in the Susquehanna. That was like huge. Like, and the press release were like, they don't know when they're going to get it fixed. It's just dumping sewage into the river.
And it's funny because last year they were freaking out at every place because it hadn't rained in 6 months. So it's like, okay, we have all these algae blooms and the water's stagnant. So don't swim because of this. And now flip over, we're drowning in water. It's like now there's shit in all the water. Don't swim now because of this. Dude, I don't know, man. It's wild. No, Paul, I don't want to keep you all night. God, we covered so much crap. When will Bass and Beer Radio? Because your fans are just dying to know. When do you guys come back?
Hopefully Friday. We'll see what happens. We have some life getting in the way issues.
100% understand.
Yeah. So some things have occurred. And we have not been able to do our shows on Fridays. So hopefully we can get that straightened out soon and get back on the air.
What is the next thing you have coming up in your life right now, fishing wise?
I guess I have a TBF tournament on the bay the day after the opens.
Oh, God.
Going right to the Northeast.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Other than that, that's good. That's really my last semi. It's not. I won't really call it a major tournament, but that's my last bigger, meaningful tournament until the fall. Got a lot of stuff coming up in the fall with TBF semifinals, then the Bass Nation Championship in October.
Yeah, and then we got the
FYI, on the off chance that I make the classic, huge party in Knoxville next year.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody's coming. Like it's required.
Yeah, dude.
Knoxville's only like 6 hours away. Like you guys can drive it.
If you make it, we will be doing it. Hopefully we'll have a Bass and Beer Radio like live stream from that thing because it'll be a party.
For sure. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. But we'll see. I've never been to the Mississippi before, so
that'll be fun.
Fish is a lot like the stuff I know, so
we got the workshop here. Last question of the evening before we shut this thing down because the wife wants me.
Spinnerbait.
Any good baits for September, October? Spinnerbait? Yeah, pretty much.
Well, depends. October and September are very different. October spinnerbait. September, if we're talking about the bay, buzzbait.
Buzzbait's really good too.
Buzzbait in September.
Guys, it's tidal fishing. It's not complicated. It's really not. I keep saying this on my show. There's about 6 baits that have won on every tidal river the past 30 years, and they will still work in the next 30 years. It's just
I just wanted to say something other than a chatterbait.
God damn it.
Because we all know that you can throw a chatterbait here 12 months out of the year.
I got in an argument with a guy on, I think it was Bass Beer Radio about, not Bass, the Basscast show about like, okay, well the minnow fishing has taken over. It's like, not regionally, because from like the Upper Bay down to the James,
we don't minnow fish around here.
How many people freaking minnow fish versus the chatterbait, the swim jig, the buzzbait, like all that shit sells out every tackle store.
Not in the tidal areas. I mean, when you get into like the lake fishing, then it gets a little different. But
it's so sectionalized. You just hear Randy Blockett saying,
even Conowingo, like what? I love scoping. It's one of my favorite things to do.
It's a lot of fun.
I had a tournament there 2 weeks ago. I caught every one of my fish dirt shallow, except for one. I did scope one randomly while we were fishing. We were fishing wood on the bank, and I just scanned out into the middle of nowhere. And I was like, oh, there's fish, and threw a minnow out and caught a 2-pounder. It was the only one that I even saw.
Yeah, because
I didn't even see any the rest of the day. That was like first thing in the morning, and it was just like randomly just like swimming in like 4 feet down in 12 feet of water. And I'm like, that's definitely a bass. Let me dig my minnow rod out and catch that real quick. And I did, and that's the only one I saw all day. Like I was like on the lookout all day, and in practice, like they should have been offshore. I think because we got all that rain, the water's so dirty that they're just not moving offshore like they usually do. So, even situations like that where, that water dirties up and those fish have not moved offshore. All of my offshore, I even before I used live scope, I fished offshore a ton on Conowingo, and they're just not there.
Well, because this is also the thing too, is I feel like I've always said this, I think we're overreacting to the scope situation, and it's also the world, the weather, everything goes in these cycles, and we are now in this wet cycle. And because of that, these fisheries are going to set up differently. Think about the 10 killer event. That's a classic example where people on a hawk mic said, even if I wanted to catch them on scope, I can't, because all of the fish are moving up into the wood. This is how
Right.
you catch them
because
it's
the water went up 6 feet.
Exactly. So if you have these dry, super clear conditions, or you go to a lake that's set up like that, of course scope will do it. But if you have a shit ton of rain and the color that you have in the water, that's not going to play as well. You can catch them other ways. So, but I don't know. We take common sense and it's out the window because of these hot button issues.
Well, right. And it's like, it's like the only lakes that get fished in the country are the 8 lakes that Bassmaster goes to.
Preach. Yep.
Okay. Like, that's cool. Like, I know a couple of lakes in Louisiana that have fun scoping in because the average depth is like 4 feet.
Yep.
Like, in the entire lake. The scoping doesn't work. You just have to flip.
Yeah.
Same up here, on the Upper Bay. Like, you can have fun scoping. It doesn't work. If Matt Pangrack wasn't scoping in the open when they were here 2 years ago, the scope thing doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Now, guys were using, the guys that
perspective
that won, and they were kind of scoping, like they were looking to see if there were fish on pieces of structure.
Yeah,
they weren't like minnow, and they were throwing crankbaits, right? They were throwing crankbaits and chatterbaits.
Yeah, but again, it's like this is what the 1%ers were doing, and not like what everyone in the top 10, top 20. This is and again, you're talking about bait sales because this is the biggest thing. Because like I casted this week, everyone. It's like the Susquehanna River, Shenandoah. Like there are so many places where, again, smallmouth routes, a smallmouth guy first. No one uses scope on all these smallmouth rivers. Susquehanna River, one of the best smallmouth fisheries on the planet, up there with the St. Lawrence. Very few people are using scope, and people are selling hellgrammites and crankbaits like hotcakes.
Let's talk about one more thing before we get off here. The big weights that we see are because of live scope over the last 4 years, and then Drew Cook drops 27 pounds without live scope.
Yep.
Guess what? It's not because of live scope. Our fisheries are getting better.
Yeah, our fisheries are getting better
because we're taking better care of them for the most part. Better care of them, not good care of them. Better.
and to keep opening up this can of worms, do you want the Lake Fork event or 5 days later when you have the Sabine? Because it was a very whiplashy thing where you have people scoping and catching 200 pounds at Fork, and then 2 days later, no one's using scope basically, and everyone's pitching and flipping 1-pounders, and people are bored.
Flip them. What makes Lake Fork better? When the week before everybody was catching 2-pounders. It doesn't matter if they're catching them on scope. Like I just spent 4 days watching guys catch 2-pounders. Now it's fun watching them catch 8.
And that's the thing.
No matter how they catch them,
it doesn't matter how they catch them. It's catching big weights. I 100% agree with you there. And this is the thing. I'm gonna do a special, guys, shitting on Bassmaster's top lakes in the country because I have a problem where you have they have their top lake list, but they never go to the top lakes. They will say Clear Lake is the best lake in the country, but we'll never go there again. That pisses me off because I tried really hard. I couldn't find the Sabine anywhere in their top 100 places, but it's because they're check clears. Yeah, isn't that shocking? Like I don't know. It's just like you say there's 100 awesome lakes, but you never go to most of them, and that's like sad. Like go somewhere cool and different.
Keep in mind too that a large majority of those lakes logistically are impossible to have big tournaments there.
Agreed. But there are some that aren't. And that's where it's frustrating.
Money is part of logistics, and it costs a lot of money to go to Clear Lake.
True. But would you get that money back in the ratings compared if you just take the check from the Sabine again?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally understand that. But, what makes me, about that list, what made me the most mad, and I saw somebody on TikTok talking about the same thing. Their number 4 lake was Casitas. it's like a 1,500 acre lake.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that's going to do to that lake?
I agree. The size and how the morality of it all. It could be adjusted. I agree with that. I think if you want states and the local biology departments to make the lakes better, you have got to figure out a way to reward them. And so if Smith Mountain Lake and the DWR put over like $500,000 into putting F1s into Smith. Getting the BPT to go there to show that place off, that's good because it strokes their ego that they did a good job. Mm-hmm. And Bass or somebody needs to do this where it's like, hey, congratulations, this year you're the best lake in the country. Therefore, we will automatically go there to show it off. Just even something like that, where they do something like that. The best lake in the country, we automatically go there next. We'll eat the cost because we declare it's the best lake. Something like that would be cool, because you got to start rewarding these places that actually care about their fisheries, and not just, hey, this is the Sabine, we have 3 fish in the whole system, our check will clear. Like this is some weird ass prostitute deal and we're going to go there again. Come on. There's so many. If you went to Clear Lake tomorrow, everyone would watch. If you went to Falcon or Amistad again, people would freaking watch that shit in a heartbeat.
So people will watch, but also, I kind of get the Sabine.
Dude.
Because now, granted, this doesn't make them a ton of money, but the Sabine brings like some of the largest in-person crowds.
It does.
You're
right.
Like that town supports them coming there. They enjoy them coming there.
Yeah.
And so there's some merit to rewarding that as well. So, but I also agree with you that, like, if you're going to put out this list of top 100 lakes, that maybe you should visit some of them and show off those lakes and what the pros can do. I mean, I look at the Potomac tournament, the BPT on the Potomac. Did anybody think that tournament was going to go like that?
No way in hell.
No. They caught them way better than I thought they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, way better.
They caught the shit out of them.
I mean, it was stupid.
That was pretty crazy. Format, all that aside, guys, they caught the shit out of them. They really did. And again, like I remember Lake Oahu, whatever the hell it's called, that had some of the best ratings of the last 10 years in bass because it was a new lake. Different. It was different, and people are allured to that. When the BPT went to the North Carolina lakes, it was so cool.
Smallmouth, it was
so cool,
fantastic.
Rolling Hills of South Dakota. I didn't even know South Dakota had a damn lake until they went there. It's like, holy shit! And then it's like, this is the biggest lake in the United States. Right? It's like, I didn't even fucking know that.
Second only to Okeechobee.
Yeah, and people said like they couldn't run the whole thing because there was not enough gas stations. That's how. If you guys don't know, that's how big this lake is. Like you can't run the whole thing because there's not enough gas stations.
It's like 300 miles long.
Yeah,
or something stupid,
bonkers.
I mean, it's bigger than Toledo Bend. Toledo Bend's like 100 from one end to the other is like 109 miles.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that tournament. I loved that tournament. I wish really they would go back there. I mean, there's certain places that like they've been to recently that like it's just like they've written them off.
D17 on Instagram. Go back to Desert Lakes. D17 on Instagram says, why didn't you go back to Desert Lakes? Yeah, I mean, now
the Aaron Martin's Blackbird tournament.
Yep. Coolest thing ever.
One of my favorite tournaments that I've watched.
Yep. That
was amazing.
And the Delta that year, I think it was Justin Lucas that won year.
Justin Lucas catches that 12-pounder off a bed.
The memories we have of these tournaments, I will remember that, and the Thule pattern he talked about was so freaking cool. Yeah. And it's also just really cool to watch aesthetically. Like them, like you look at, there's a cactus and you're flipping these massive things of Thule. That was so fun. Yeah, that's so cool.
And then you start hearing Aaron talking about like, oh yeah, they're one of my best for rough feathers, and they have these blackbirds nesting here. So I'm just flipping back in there as far as I can.
God, dude, that was so cool. That? No, was that the same year that he won on the Chesapeake?
No.
Was it the year after? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the year after.
Because didn't he win the AOY, like the biggest point spread ever in history? I think that's allegedly true. Like he blew out the AOY one year. I forget what year it was.
He was so far ahead in AOY that he didn't have to fish the last day of the last tournament.
Okay, yeah, that's stupid.
so he it's funny. Dave Mercer talks about this all the time. So he's like, well, I already have AOY. Like I caught enough fish. Like I don't really have a chance to win. Like I'm just going to fish around the boat ramp. It catches like 22 pounds. like 5 minutes from the boat ramp.
Dude, it's just wild, man. Guys, we're gonna have to have another full breakdown just the history of bass. Yeah, because they've gone to some cool places that I wish they go back to. Those were always the events that stick out in my mind as a viewer. Like
Bugs
personally.
Island.
Bugs Island. Yeah. Go there.
I mean, there were some cool old tournaments on Bugs Island.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some like I'm talking like late 90s, like late 90s. In the late 90s, it was. I mean, that was a staple on the Bassmaster Tour. Like
someone just said Dale Hollow on Instagram again. Yeah, Dale Hollow was. I think it was the BPT 2 years ago or whatever that they went there because they have that weird ass smallmouth.
It's a weird smallmouth roll. That's why Bassmaster doesn't go there.
But yeah, that was cool to see that place. And they also showed us about using a squirt gun with Dawn soap, which I didn't know was a thing that you could use to push the pollen out of the way so you could see beds, which is kind of neat. Didn't think of that.
You see Drew Cook on Hartwell this year?
Mm-hmm.
He had like a garden sprayer, for like spraying pesticide.
Yeah,
like a big, like the big tank sitting on his front desk that like he pumped for to pressurize. It was just sitting on his front deck while he was fishing. Like this big.
Fishermen are just they're crafty, man. They really are. Let's see. I like the Sabine no scope, just fishing. It's okay. Here's the other part of it. I just get bored with it. It was like Beaver Reservoir, Beaver Creek, whatever it was back in the day, where FLW always went to Beaver Lake every year. It just kind of gets, to me as a fan, it just get bored with it.
I'm gonna say, I've said this on your show before. There's nothing different about scoping than any other fishing offshore. It's the same.
Yeah.
Just they have a spinning rod instead of a bait head. They're throwing a minnow instead of a crankbait, or they're throwing a minnow instead of a hair jig. And now they're starting to throw hair jigs with live scope too. So it's even more the same.
Especially when you have the NPFL and you look at what they're doing in the St. Lawrence and stuff, and it's like you're looking at the back of somebody's head staring into an ocean. Either way,
it was exactly the same. They did not have scope. The view, like I watched Kyle Welcher. I watched a fairly good amount on Thursday. Kyle Welcher was, or Friday, second day, whatever the second day was. Kyle Welcher was on live. It was no different watching him fish there than it was watching him scope. When he scopes, Kyle Welcher's a good all around fisherman anyway. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it, but it wasn't any different than watching somebody scope. Like. And he's just out in the middle of nowhere he was throwing chatterbait. Like it's not, as far as a viewing perspective, it's not any different.
It's not.
I don't understand what the big deal with scope is. They're still staring at somebody's back. They're making a cast when they have the right lineup. When guys are ledge fishing. Like they're making one specific cast, just like you are with scoping.
It's virtue signaling and politics at this point. I want to virtue signal what I feel like, and also it's basically like Democrats and Republicans. I want to tell you that I'm team no scope. I'm team Randy Blockett, versus I'm team McKinney, and I want to.
I'm team whatever shows me a 7-pounder on live. I watch it. Well, partially to learn some. Like that's why I watched the BPT. Like obviously they're on the Potomac, right? Like I'm trying to see where these guys are fishing at.
Yeah.
But like I'm just watching to catch fish. I want to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see them catch fish. That's what entertains me.
And it's the fun factor.
I would rather watch them catch 40 fish with live scope than watch them catch 3 fish flipping a jig on a piece of 3 fish in 4 hours, flipping a bank.
Dude, I'll keep saying this. I had so many guys on this show.
And I love throwing a jig.
Yeah.
Flipping a jig is one of my favorite things to do.
When I
did it all night tonight, or all afternoon today.
When they
all
eat
I
it,
did was flip a jig.
Absolutely. And when I can punch, I'll punch. When I throw a frog, I throw a frog. But it's a fun factor because yes, and I keep using this analogy. I started fishing way more in the wintertime when I got scope. Because when it's blowing 20 miles an hour and it's 20 degrees, I can drag a jig on the bottom with snot running out of my nose, or I can scope a minnow and I can catch crappie, bluegill, bass, Alabama rig. Yeah, I can actually catch fish and have fun. And it comes back to like, we have fun when we catch them. No one comes back to the boat ramp after getting skunked and being like, gee golly gosh, I had a great time dragging my jig. I caught jack shit, but I had fun. No, you catch something. Scope will help you in certain situations catch fish, which equals more fun, I thought. So like, why is this such a no-brainer? If you take your kid out there and you let him drag a jig for 8 hours.
You mentioned fun. That's the main thing. You don't have to use live scope if you don't like live scope.
100%.
Go fish how you want to fish. It's fine. Yeah. Nobody's going to think less of you for doing that. Don't think less of anybody for using live scope. You're not better than them because you're out dragging a jig and not catching anything or catching them. Just like somebody going out and live scoping is not any better than you, and you're not any better than them.
Mm-hmm.
You're all just fishing. It doesn't make a difference to anyone unless there's some sort of, environmental impact. If it becomes a conservation issue, which I could see that in not necessarily with bass, but with like crappie,
walleye,
walleye, things like that, where with those species that are commonly harvested. I could see it being a conservation issue, but as long as it's not a conservation issue, have at it. Do it. You enjoy. That's the main point of going out. It's having fun. It's not, living vicariously through this pro tour. And I feel like that's what a lot of people that have these strong opinions do, is they're trying to live vicariously through these anglers that they see on TV. Just like it's no different than your wife watching any one of the what are those housewife shows, right?
Yeah, Desperate Housewives of
not
Orange
Desperate
County.
Housewives, the
Bachelorette or whatever.
Bachelorette or the real Housewives. That's what I was looking for. It's no different. A lot of people they're watching this, and it's like reality TV for them.
Yep.
And
it is.
It's like, get out and go fishing. Like, get off the internet and go out and go out and fish. Stop trying to live vicariously through these guys that are on tour. I watch them, but it's, as entertainment. Like, I don't care. Like, if they catch them, they catch them. If they don't,
you live vicariously. One way or another. Yeah. You live vicariously, as Jamie said right here in the chat. I haven't heard this take before. You're right. Like, people in any sport, they live vicariously through their team. And again, the whole foundation of this show was I was listening to people bitching about the Redskins one day. And it's like, if you're bitching about the quarterback every day, you'll do this about fishing. And it's true, because people bitch about it because like they're living their lives vicariously through the Redskins, the Nationals, the Red Sox, whatever. And they do it with fishing.
Look, I'm a diehard Orioles fan. Diehard. I'm not in the comments bitching about their pitching every day. Do I think their pitching is lacking? Yes, but I'm not one of those little bridge trolls that's on every Orioles Facebook post, making sarcastic comments about how they didn't sign Corbin Burns. Well, hey, guess what? He's on the DL for the next year and a half because he has to have Tommy John surgery. So good job. But anyway, I don't understand where people come from with this. And it's the same thing with fishing. It's like, oh, well, I follow Bernie Schultz. Bernie Schultz is my guy, right? He hates forward-facing sonar, so I hate forward-facing sonar.
And I was trying to make sure. And then JP will be the last thing, because JP, it says it's tribalism essentially.
Hey, what's up, JP?
And JP, huge shout out to you and your new bait company. It did extremely well, especially with the MPFL. So I'll be getting him on at some point. I'm so backlogged with guests and like episodes. But JP, I'll be getting you on this summer eventually, so we can go through that, because that's pretty cool what you've gone through, dude.
Yeah, tribalism. Yeah, he's exactly right.
It is. It's tribalism, whatever you want to call it, and it'll pass. It too will pass. I tell you though, I realize that they're 16-year-old girls have drama, but 80-year-old men in fishing have the same amount of drama. It's wild, man. It is absolutely wild. As always, guys, link in the episode description, everything we talked about. Go for it.
One thing, because JP came up, I'm pretty sure that JP's PB still came out of my boat.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
I drew him on an SQT on the Potomac, and he caught a 7.5 pounder behind me.
Holy God. What was that like? That's a story.
I'll tell it real quick. So we fished this one piece of structure, and we were going up and down this bank, and we fished this piece of structure like 3 times. So the third time was we're coming by. I fish it. I made my 4 or 5 pitches to it, and I'm moving on to cast out at the point that's behind it. And he flips a jig in and goes, oh, I think I got one. And I look back and I just see a mouth like this big come out of the water. And I'm like, oh my God. I feel like I was more excited than he was.
JP, if you ever want to come on the show, just let me know. And then actually we got JP right here. Paul is a hell of a guide.
That was great. It was fantastic. He was super stoked about it. And I was really, really glad. He kicked my ass that day. He had more weight for 3 than I had for 5.
Wow, dude, awesome.
We had a good time that day. It was pretty cool.
Guys, as always, link in the episode description, everything we talked about. I just linked the Bass and Beer Radio Group's information down below. Please go check them out. Hopefully they'll be making their major comeback hopefully here soon, because I know my Fridays have just been hollow ever since they took their little leave of absence. So hopefully we'll see them back again. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys, and we'll see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.